Brock is following this still unfolding tragedy from Asheville, North Carolina. And Sam, so many people are still unaccounted for.
Yeah, Lester, that was the real revelation right now. Buncombe County saying that figure went from 4 yesterday to 200 tonight. But with homes and debris on the roads like the ones behind me and communication gaps, it's a figure that is constantly fluctuating. Almost 7 days after Hurricane Helene battered large stretches of the South, the search for those unaccounted for continues as new stories of survival come to light.
The water rose so fast and got so strong that I just had to grab a post and hold on.
The devastating death totals only expected to grow. So far, at least 215 fatalities now confirmed across 6 different states. From Florida's Pinellas County, with around a dozen drownings, to Georgia's statewide suffering, recording more than 30 fatalities. Then there's North Carolina, where more than 100 have died. And search and rescue efforts have taken some miraculous turns. Former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle using a private helicopter to deliver supplies, spotting a stranded survivor only because he was hoisting a mirror, also in the mountains. Employees of Skyfire AI firing up their drone and showing us how they work with governments and even private companies to locate the missing.
Aid for local law enforcement to help search and rescue, to help find routes, to better get aid in and out.
We take a bird's eye view of the destruction in Burnsville, North Carolina, an hour outside of Asheville. Is this the area they've been searching?
There has been a lot of search and rescue in this area. I know it's been very difficult for them to get up here. And this is one of the areas they're saying still needs a lot of supplies to get moved in.
On this day, choppers, likely medevacs, fly overhead as the Skyfire team shows us roads that have been buckled, broken, and chopped off. All the while, families wait.
We've had conversations with people who haven't seen their loved ones in a week, and it's completely heartbreaking.
Their efforts even helping companies like CVS, who determine road and bridge status so they could get medications to patients in need quickly and search for several employees who were unaccounted for following the storm. The damage on the ground, in this case an access bridge by a local quarry that's all but gone, indicative of the challenges that lie ahead for restoring infrastructure like water. Swannanoa Fire Chief Anthony Penland addressing the decimated pipes.
I don't think there's a word to describe it. I don't know how long this is going to take.
For so many tonight, the road ahead is long, but their mere survival is something to celebrate.
The front door, the water pushed it in, and it pushed in the back door, and within 30 seconds, it went from the ground to neck level.
Sam Brock, NBC News, Asheville, North Carolina.
Apocalyptic dreams or visions. I don't know, these people got me scared when they start talking about those dock workers and get your tissue paper, get your paper towel, stock up. And the first one I saw a woman, I don't know if it was me, but it was some black people, going to a family's home, and it was cold, it was raining, I think it was even snow on the ground. And the lady asked the couple, "What's that across the street from you?" And they could look and see it was a grocery store, some type of grocery store, but it was a parking lot and was full of people. It had to have been about 30 or 40 people in their cars, camping out. No, they wasn't camping out for Black Friday. They was on hard times. They had a hitch with a trailer or a trailer bed. Some of the people had blankets over them laying in that little trailer bed. Some of them looked like they was out in the elements. And one family that looked like we zoomed in on was a white family, an older white lady, and she was sitting in the back of the bed of the truck, of the trailer that was hitched to the car, and was another woman and 2 little kids out in the open. And there's no way they could have been warm because it was no heat or nothing. They was just out there, and it was, you could tell when the water, something's dripping, it's raining, but it's a light mist, but it's cold. And so the family's telling me these people gotta leave the store and let them park their cars, their trailers, to sleep there at night. But when the day come, when the morning come, they gotta move off the parking lot, and that's what they're doing. So when we went into the woman's house, it was cozy, it was warm, She had like 3 or 4 kids, and I noticed two or one of the kids was disabled. That's the first one. There might have been some other stuff in it that I left out, but that was the main one. So if you have money available, or if you like me, your money sometimes be funny, I would still be like a little mouse, a little rat, and start putting things away. Slowly put things away, because you don't know what's going to happen in January. They say January might be still start stocking up on your tissue paper, paper towels, sanitary napkins, Kotex, Ensure, I don't know, Progresso soup.
Family of a Georgia woman who was killed while holding her newborn twin babies when a tree fell onto her home when Helene hit. Kobe Williams' family said they didn't expect the storm to have this impact and leave them brokenhearted. It was just August 30th when Kobe Williams' family was on cloud 9.
Because to be honest with you, Kobe never wanted kids. But when she had them, when she loved her babies, she was excited to be a new mom. In a rocking chair, I got Kaiser in one arm, I got Cashmere. I was so excited about my nephew.
27-year-old Kobe gave birth to twin boys. Her big sister Tamara said her sister loved being a mom, but it was just 29 days later when that joy was ripped from her family.
The day everything happened, she called me that morning at 6:07 a.m. to tell me that a tree had fallen inside our dad's home.
Less than 2 hours later, Tamara got another call from another relative. Kobe was inside her Thompson trailer home when Hurricane Helene blew through, knocking a tree straight into her home, killing Kobe and her newborn twins.
It was just like the worst day of our life. And we still, every day we relived it. We wasn't prepared. And honestly, we didn't think that it was going to be as bad as it was.
Her family now still trying to wrap their head around the fact that she and the twins are gone.
Just the sweetest person you could ever meet. Sweetest soul, kind-hearted. She just was everything that a big sister could ask for.
Well, the funeral home is raising money for the burial of Kobe and her twin boys. We put a link to the GoFundMe on WSBTV.com.
Is in Fairview. This is southeast of Asheville. Learning more about the family and their tragedy. Diane.
It's unrecognizable now, but this is where I was born and raised.
This is what's left of Craigtown. Now Jesse Craig is trying to pick up the pieces, grappling with the incredible loss of losing 11 of his family members.
My mother and father, my aunt and uncle, my great aunt and uncle, lost cousins, second cousins, things like that. But 11 people overall from this mudslide.
Massive mudslides. You can see the path of destruction. Several homes just gone.
There was one up here, a brick house, and then my parents' house, a building. There were buildings through here.
All of these homes, his family's proud history, now piles of rubble. As Jesse walked Eyewitness News around his family land, he shared how his grandfather bought this land more than 80 years ago.
The locals call it Craigtown because I'm a Craig, and a lot of my family still live over there. My dad was born and raised there. You know, my whole family's been in this tight-knit community.
The family built 8 decades of memories, but never could imagine suffering a loss like this. Included in the 11 family members of firefighter Tony Garrison, who died while saving a family member from this home. Look at this red truck. One of Jesse's family survived the onslaught inside of it when the mudslides came, carrying his truck to here. Then he had to break the back window to escape.
We'll never make sense of it. You know, it's our community and our town. I don't know that it'll ever be the same.
Since Helene, Jesse and his wife surrounded by family, friends, and the entire Fairview community, along with total strangers, helping Craigtown, an online fundraiser raising more than $50,000 to help pay for the 11 funerals, medical expenses of those family still in the hospital, and to one day rebuild Craigtown.
We don't want people to forget, months down the road. This isn't just a week or two fix. This is,
we got to be in it for the long haul. This is going to take, years of work, repair. Try to have it recognizable again.
And trying to recover from not just one, but two major hurricanes and the tornadoes they spawned, all within a few weeks. But it's not just the physical debris and flooding. The emotional toll can be nearly as devastating, especially when you're dealing with deadly storms like we saw. The death toll from Helene has risen to at least 237 across 6 states. And then just 13 days later, Milton hits Florida, where the death toll has risen to at least 17. So let's bring in Dr. Gail Saltz, psychiatrist and psychoanalyst and host of the How Can I Help podcast. Dr. Saltz, good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm talking about such an important issue that impacts everyone in one way or another. So, Dr. Saltz, for people to experience just one deadly storm, of course, in the region is traumatizing, but these back-to-back hits have to take a different kind of toll, and you say can eventually even develop into post-traumatic stress disorder.
Well, recurrent trauma, we know, creates potentially mental health issues. Of course, people can get through and ultimately be resilient, but initially, after a significant trauma in this level, you would expect people to have an acute stress reaction, which means they would have memories of the event that are disturbing. They might have disrupted sleep. They would have a lot of anxiety during the day or low mood. They might avoid anything that reminds them of the storm. But as time goes on, for most people, a trauma like that would resolve. But another trauma on top of that can increase the likelihood that those kinds of symptoms would persist. And over time, if they don't go away, that essentially becomes post-traumatic stress disorder. The important thing is treatment intervention can make all the difference.
Absolutely, and it certainly has to start even now, which is difficult as people are trying to recover and rebuild. And let's talk about how this event can also impact future generations. Can you talk about how someone who survived one or both of these hurricanes may pass on the stress of this experience potentially to their children or even their grandchildren in years to come?
Right. Well, you're sort of talking about two different phenomena. In terms of children, children read us very well. And if you are appearing extremely anxious, upset, essentially traumatized, that will increase the likelihood that they feel traumatized as well. The most important thing to children is to know that they feel safe. So reassuring them of such, trying to get a handle on your own symptoms so that you can help guide them and help them with their emotional health. That's really important. But you bring up the point of grandchildren, and there are two elements here. One is the socio-financial element of what's going on, that we know that over time, lack of support of a community, which is undone by a trauma like this, and the financial consequences, the economic suffering that goes on can also affect mental health. And of course, that can affect generations. And actually, there's even some data to suggest that real trauma over a long period of time genetically loads the next generation and the generation after that. So trauma can be passed down through generations, as you're mentioning. But I think in this case, the most important thing for the community is to build up their coping skills, talk to each other about how they're feeling, support each other as best they can, develop some personal coping skills, pace deep breathing, the ability to do some exercise, to eat well, to sleep well, and if they're not doing well, to get mental health care.
Okay, the second one, which was almost as scary, if not even scarier than that one. These people, I don't know, maybe they gotta be scared again with all this stuff about the Haitians allegedly eating cats, eating geese. Somebody saw, I read somewhere, somebody said the geese missing from the park again. And I saw this morning, 70 people have been unalive, Haitian gangs in Haiti. I don't know.
Usually quiet Midwestern town, Springfield, Ohio, has received an outsized share of attention this past week. Many in the town's proud Haitian community, almost all of them in the United States legally, tonight are fearing for their livelihoods and their lives since baseless claims about crime and the killing of pets began to spread. The town's police, its mayor, the state's Republican governor all say that none of these claims are true. Our senior national correspondent Terry Moran is in Springfield tonight.
They are living in fear here, the community of Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio. And they tell us they're afraid to leave their homes.
Haitian people, they're scared to go out because they're afraid about their life, their safety, and all that.
In this town of almost 60,000 people, threats of bombings and shootings have forced the closure of schools and city buildings for days. Wittenberg University here has canceled all activities on Sunday, and classes switched to virtual learning on Monday out of an abundance of caution. James Fleurejean, a member of the Haitian Community Help and Support Center, says the fear comes from the bizarre and, according to city officials here, false stories amplified by prominent politicians, including former President Donald Trump.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
I know some parents, like, for this period of time, they're trying to keep their children home. Like, by the time they see how things going to be, like, wait for a couple of weeks to see if things going to calm down or if things going to escalate, you see? That's why, like, some parents, they don't even send their children to school, like, for this week.
I pressed the former president on Friday in California.
The mayor of Springfield, Ohio, the police chief, the Republican governor of Ohio have all debunked this story about people eating pets. And now there are bomb threats at schools and kids being evacuated. Why do you still spread this false story?
The real threat is what's happening at our border.
Radio host Miguelito Jerome helped launch the new Diaspora Live, in part to keep Haitians in the community informed, but also to bridge the different cultures that now exist in Springfield. And he says despite the hate that's been directed at Haitians by outsiders, the local community has come together to support their businesses.
But we can actually try to save Springfield, right? And right now in South Limestone, you have, local residents going to Rose Restaurant since last weekend pretty much to go to eat, and it's packed.
And Ohio's Republican Governor Mike DeWine on ABC's This Week tried to knock down the stories, calling them garbage.
This discussion just has to stop. We need to focus on moving forward and not dogs and cats being eaten. It's just ridiculous.
But all that hasn't stopped the harmful rhetoric. Republican vice presidential candidate and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance says the story about people eating pets has worked, even if it's not true.
The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to, create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana. It comes from firsthand accounts from my constituents. I say that we're creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media focusing on it.
Springfield's Haitian community comprises the majority of the influx of 12 to 15,000 migrants to the area in the past 4 years. With hopes for stability, safety, and jobs, many of these Haitian migrants fled their country, which is ravaged by gang-related violence and poverty, to come to the U.S. Some are protected under the federal government's temporary protected status designation.
Ohio is on the move, and Springfield has really made a great resurgence with a lot of companies coming in. These Haitians came in to work for these companies. They're very happy to have them there. And frankly, that's helped the economy.
There are allegations of Haitians eating dogs and cats and taking them off the street and stealing them from people's yards. What is your reaction when you hear that?
It was shocking to me, honestly, because the first question I asked myself, where in the world do people are eating pets?
Viles Dorsonville is the head of the Haitian Community Help and Support Center in Springfield, Ohio. He came to the United States about 4 years ago from Haiti, and he hasn't just questioned the nature of the recent rumors, he's questioned what they will do to his community.
It's just like xenophobia, it's just like bigotry, discrimination, and racist. And they do not normally take time to see the impact that can have on the mental health of the immigrants fleeing the country from all kind of chaos.
To be clear, former President Donald Trump's claims are not supported by evidence. In a statement to CNN, a spokesperson for the city of Springfield said there have been no credible reports or specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community. But all of this has also come as part of a very real surge in Haitian population in Springfield.
We have realistically been saying 12 to 15,000 immigrants is what we have counted through the health department and other agencies.
And they are here legally under the immigration parole program. Once here, immigrants are then eligible to apply for temporary protected status. Haitian temporary protected status was recently extended.
We have realistically been saying 12 to 15,000 immigrants is what we have counted through the health department and other agencies.
And they are here legally under the immigration parole program. Once here, immigrants are then eligible to apply for temporary protected status. Haitian temporary protected status was recently extended and redesignated for Haiti, mainly due to violent anarchy in the country. But the total population of Springfield is around 58,000, so that's around 25% Haitian, and the growing pains in the community have not always been easy. State officials say it's stressing resources.
That obviously represents a massive increase based upon percentage of the population in Springfield. It is unprecedented in such a short period of time. The federal government simply has to be part of the solution. They have to step up. It is their policies that have created these surges.
The influx of Haitians has also manifested itself in other ways, including a tragedy. Specifically, in 2023, when 11-year-old Aiden Clark was killed in a Springfield bus crash, one that involved a Haitian immigrant who had a driver's license that was not valid in Ohio, as reported by the New York Times. Aiden's father declined to speak on camera, but as others have posted about the tragedy recently, he told CNN in a statement, "We just want our family out of the news and for Aiden to not be mentioned in regards to politics." Putting aside any unverified theories about cats and dogs, Vilbrin Dorsonville, also Haitian, says he understands the criticisms about the strain on resources caused by the influx of immigrants.
I agree with these people.
But he also painted a harsh reality.
If it was not for a matter of death or life in my country, it would be better to get back.
And this one is a immigrant family that they are black, but I don't know if they were Haitian or what. I know there wasn't Somali, but they look to be African or Haitians. The woman is telling her husband, her man, that there's a white dude or white man who has been harassing her, who's been stalking her, that he's even showing up at the house. And other events and stuff that's going on. So the man gets something like a black suitcase, a big old, whatever it was, it was black, about 3 feet or 4 feet high, and it had a double thing, like you open it, and he opened it, and it had stuff in it. I don't know, I'm not going to even say what the stuff was. And he said, we don't have to worry about this because we're not running. They're not going to run us off. We're not running away. They're not going to get rid of us. This is going to be the last time he messes with you, or he messed with us, or they mess with us. This is what's going to be waiting for them. Something to that effect. And I was like, wow. So 2 apocalyptic dreams, visions, I don't know, nightmares, however you want to call it. And I thought, wow, I had a lot going on in my little mind, or whoever my guardian angel is. I wish you could bless me to get the winning lotto numbers, because I would have loved to have got that $500 million lotto. But I was like, wow. So we've got the immigrants, or whoever these people are, who are being harassed, attacked, bullied, stalked. And then we got this other group of people who are homeless. They have nowhere to go, nothing to eat. The kids, the mama, the grandma, there was even one guy in a sports car, like a little older, the old style Mercedes, with a hitch, with a little trailer, pushing that with his little car. It could be a whole bunch of things. I do want to share with y'all. Watch my videos. Nobody was talking about Russia, Israel, but me, year before last, and we see what's going on. I talked about, in another one, I talked about Justin Timberlake a while back. Nobody was talking about Justin Timberlake. We see he had got in trouble with that drinking or driving under the influence. So watch my previous videos. No, I'm not going to pin them. just go through. I can't believe I've got 400 some videos, but yeah, go through them, check them out. Lift these people up in prayers. Lift when you walk out your home. You should be walking in the light. We never know what's going to happen to us or our family, our kids, our husband. When we're walking out that door, when we're walking into Walmart, when you're walking at the mall, when you're going to your mama house, when you're walking the dogs, you don't know what's in your children's mind when they're going to school, when they're going to college, when they're going out to eat with friends. Keep them in the light.
27, it started raining early in the year that year. January, February. Rain seemed like every day. It rained and rained and rained and rained some more. It just looked like it would never stop.
The river kept coming above flood level. And it was rumored in all of the papers and things that if this levee would break, we would have a flood that would wash away from Memphis to New Orleans.
On April 15th, 1927, Good Friday, as another violent storm battered Greenville, Mississippi, a party was held in one of the town's finest homes. As the rain intensified, guests were drawn to the windows. Just beyond their view, the Mississippi River was rising to unprecedented heights. A burst of thunder shook the house and the party fell silent. All eyes turned to one man, Leroy Percy. The former senator was one of the most powerful planters in the Mississippi Delta. Senator Percy, one woman asked, will the levees hold? Percy gathered a group of men and rushed to the levee protecting Greenville from the river. The levee was holding, but barely. Staring at the angry water, Percy could see that an epic battle was looming, pitting man against nature. What he couldn't see was that a human storm was also approaching. One that would pit money against honor, black man against white, even father against son.
And you had the benefit of human labor there that was about as inexpensive as you could get. And these big plantations, they would have thousands of blacks that worked there. I mean, you couldn't raise it without the blacks. Without human labor there, you couldn't exist. Not only important, it was vital.
The plantation system offered African Americans work, but very little else. Most families scraped out a living from sharecropping. The planters provided a small plot of land. Everything else was advanced on credit and deducted from the workers' share of the crop. It was a system ripe for abuse.
It was known on some plantations that the only thing that the people gathered in life was what you would call 3 M's, meat, meal, and molasses. And they would work from sun up until sundown. And when the season was over, the only thing they had left was an indebtedness of $400 or $500.
A year later, Percy ran for re-election against a bitter political enemy. Former Mississippi Governor James K. Vardaman was a populist and an unapologetic racist. If it is necessary, he warned, every Negro in the state will be lynched to maintain white supremacy. Vardaman defeated Percy in a landslide.
The effect of the defeat of 1911 on Leroy Percy was to send him into the deepest gloom he'd probably ever experienced. He felt that he had let down the side, so to speak, that his honor had been violated, because not only had he lost the election, but he'd come in third, a sitting senator coming in third.
So you guys, without further ado, I want to thank you for watching my video.